Hello, I'm John Cirucci. I chair the Global Societal Initiatives Committee and serve on the AIChE Foundation Board of Trustees. For 10 years now, AIChE has been supporting chemical engineers working on humanitarian development through grants to Engineers Without Borders. And Lehigh University was awarded that grant in fall of 2017. So joining us today is a representative from Lehigh University, Jacob DeWitt, and he's going to tell us a little about himself and our project. Could you introduce yourself, Jacob?
Yeah, my name is Jacob DeWitt. I'm a second-year chemical engineer at Lehigh University. I'm working in the EWB chapter. I'm currently the secretary, and I'm a general member for the AIChE.
So your project is in Nicaragua,
Correct.
And you've been working there for a while. Your chapter has been, but you've hit some roadblocks because of travel. Can you tell us about your project and some of the challenges that have come your way?
Yeah, so essentially in Nicaragua we worked on a water distribution project. We went in and we assessed what they needed. We asked the community, what would you like most? And many of those answers were either a pedestrian or vehicular bridge or a water distribution system. And so one of the things we thought we were most capable of doing was implementing that water distribution system. And we worked off of 3 main pumps that they had already in place. And we put those tanks in and allowed for a pump system across 35 different homes throughout the village. And so essentially one of the roadblocks we hit along the way was we implemented the project and we were in the revision stage, making sure everything was all right, and eventually we got to the point where there was a travel ban put in place due to civil unrest. And so a lot of our project now has been based on understanding what they need from us remotely. So we have a lot of contact with cities nearby, such as Managua, and engineers within that city. And we work with them in order to make sure that that project is maintained properly. And so it's been really important to maintain that communication in order to maintain the water distribution within the area and make sure everyone's getting everything they need.
Sometimes that communication is difficult when you're on the ground. Now you're working remotely, so how do you make sure that you're getting information from them and transmitting the information they need and moving the project along?
Right. One of the things we do is we make sure that there are leaders in the community that we can maintain contact with. So there are people like Fausto in our community that we maintain contact with and make sure that they understand what could go wrong and that they can effectively communicate what is going wrong with that project. So we recently have actually had a leak in the system recently. So we've had one of the community members stay in contact with us through WhatsApp and many other like Wi-Fi based systems. Well, it's not always very reliable because obviously Wi-Fi isn't totally reliable in those areas, but it's been a difficult process to make sure that we can actually call and get in contact, but text is usually pretty reliable in being able to understand what's actually happening and doing that weekly check-in and making sure that they're getting the right things and the right advice.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, your chapter's starting a new project in the Dominican Republic.
That is correct. We're currently assessing what they need, and we'll be making a trip either this winter or this spring in order to go see and communicate with the community members and make sure we establish that connection. So we're working with maybe a few NGO partners trying to get in contact with the Peace Corps and the government and a few people who are actually in the Bethlehem area who are very familiar with the area. So it's been an interesting process so far and a lot of transition.
What's been the impact of your work in Nicaragua with that community?
So with any water distribution project, the main goal is to make sure they get daily, reliable water. And in many cases, they have to walk hours in order to get to a reliable source of potable water. And so this water distribution system has been assessed for sanitation and different aspects such as that. And so being able to have that reliable water is something that they don't have to worry about every day, and having 2 or 3 more hours to work on increasing their yield in their farms, or it's a very agricultural community, and so they have time to focus on other activities and develop other skills that they wouldn't normally have if they were spending that time walking and getting water or trying to find any other resource for basic sustenance.
No, that's really terrific. How many people in the community?
It's 35 homes, so about 180 people. Yeah. It's around that number. We've received a lot of positive support from them in this project, and they put a lot of effort in. It's very community based and very cooperative in terms of our work with them and what they need from us. And so it's a lot of communication. So it's been kind of difficult with the civil unrest, but we've been able to work through it, I think.
And what has it meant to you? What have you taken away from this?
I guess one of the biggest things is that ChemE can be seen as an international tool. I've talked to a lot of people about pressure drop and that kind of thing throughout pipes, and ChemE has this special ability to be applied to a variety of different subjects and projects such as this. And in many ways, it's not just about oil and gas. It's about making sure that people who would normally have access to potable water do. And I like that aspect. And I work a lot with sustainable development. I have an Ideas program at Lehigh, and that is based on integrating 2 different degrees, and I'll be working on sustainable development. And a lot of the SDGs from the UN, the Sustainable Development Goals, are based on potable water, reliable access, that sort of sustenance that you need every day. And so understanding how I can actually apply my major in a different culture, and being able to understand that culture is something I truly value.
Wow, that's really good to hear. Well, congratulations again on having received the AIChE grant, and I'm glad you could join us today and tell us about your experience.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.